Eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. Inn is a place where you stay, but it's like so many facilities are not there. It's just a simple place to stay. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. See, like it was too cold, and then arrival of a stranger at that time in such cold was an uncommon event. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. And then, like, which kind of appearance he made, that was also like was uncommon. All people started making stories. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, so landlord's wife's name was Mrs. Hall, made every effort to be friendly with that scientist, but Griffin, that scientist, he had no desire to talk and told that lady Mrs. Hall, my reason for coming to Iping is a desire for solitude. He wants to stay alone, so he doesn't want to talk to anyone. I don't wish to be disturbed in my work. So he says that I don't want to be disturbed. So he doesn't want to talk to anyone. Besides, and one thing more he adds, that an accident has affected my face. That he met with an accident, and then his face is not suitable that he should talk to anyone. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, then that lady, Mrs. Hall, landlord's wife, was satisfied. She understood that scientist was eccentric. Eccentric is a person who behaves strangely. So she understood, she adjusted. And in view of the fact, and one more thing was, he had paid her in advance, so it was okay. Fine, if he doesn't want to talk to anyone, fine. Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper because he had paid in advance. But the stolen money did not last long. He stole that money, so how long it had to work, he could manage. And presently, Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. He pretended, he showed, however, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment. That cash he did not have. That time his ATMs and all were not there, cards. So he was expecting a check. Shortly afterwards, but like soon, a curious incident occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman is priest, pujari, and his wife were awakened. They got awakened very early in the morning. What happened was they heard noises in their study room. Creeping downstairs, then they came downstairs. They heard the chink of money, sound of coins, because these priests and all, they have in their drawers those coins, not notes, right? Being taken from the clergyman's desk. So they heard that somebody was taking out those coins from priest's drawer without making any noise, and with a poker is a rod, grasped head firmly in his hand, the clergyman, the priest, flung open the door and he says, surrender. Then, to his amazement, he was surprised that the room appeared to be empty. There was no one in the room, but then they heard the sound of coins from the drawer. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains also, even up the chimney. Maybe somebody was hiding there or was trying to run, but there wasn't a sign of anybody. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. Money was also missing and drawer was also opened. Then the clergyman, he said, extraordinary affair, and he kept saying this the rest of the day. But it was not as extraordinary. Fine, this incident happened, that was one. Then another incident also happened during that time. So it was behavior of Mrs. Hall. This is clergyman's incident, and then we are talking about that Mrs. Hall, landlord's wife, her furniture became alive. So that incident also happened in their house. The landlord and his wife were up early, very early. They got up very early and were surprised to see. And then what did they see? The scientist's door wide open. Otherwise, he did not want to talk to anyone, and his door used to remain closed. But that day, door was wide open. Usually, it was shut and locked. And he was furious if anyone entered his room, and he did not want anybody to enter his room. He used to become angry if anybody tried to enter his room. So the opportunity seemed too good to be missed. So this time, landlord and especially his wife, they did not want to miss that opportunity. So they peeped around the door, right? Peeped means looked into, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. That okay, fine, today they'll search his room. The bedclothes were cold, so that means like he got up very early. He wasn't there. Otherwise, like if he got up a few minutes back, 5 minutes back, then those bedclothes would be hot, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time. That some time back he got up. And stranger still, the clothes and bandages that he always wore. He used to wear those bandages. He said that he met with an accident and his face got damaged or something like that. The clothes and bandages that he always wore were lying about the room. They were just lying in the room. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. Then what happened? Mrs. Hall, that landlord's wife, she got some sound of as if somebody was breathing. Otherwise, there was nobody in the room. Her husband was on side, and she heard some sniffing sound, breathing sound close to her ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt up. Then what happened was, on the bedpost there was one hat, and it jumped up, right, and dashed itself into her face, and then that hat hit into that landlady's face. Then the bedroom chair became alive, and then bedroom chair started moving, became alive. Then springing into the air, it charged means attacked, straight at her legs foremost, front side. As she and her husband turned away in terror, so they were going out of the room in terror, the extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room. Then what happened? They pushed them out of the room, and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. And then that chair locked the door also. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics, and then they had to get down the stairs, and she was about to faint almost. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits, and she felt that room was haunted by spirits, and that the stranger had somehow caused these to enter into her furniture also, and that scientist, he had made them enter into the furniture also, these spirits. And then she says, my poor mother used to sit in that chair, which chair became alive. Then she said, my poor mother, she used to sit there in that chair. And now what is happening? And now that chair is rising up and attacking me, right? The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. And neighbors, what they were thinking, they were making stories that this all was happening due to witchcraft, that black magic. But witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary, then what happened? These stories were going on, and then reached the news of burglary, that theft, at the clergyman's house. right? The strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. Then they heard that news also, that coins, that money was stolen from the clergyman's desk, and everybody started suspecting that scientist. Suspicion, doubt grew even stronger when the scientist suddenly produced some ready cash. Otherwise, earlier he said, though he had admitted earlier, not long before, that he had no money, and maybe the day before only he admitted that he did not have any money. Then the village constable was secretly sent for. Sent for means he was called, and that too secretly, otherwise that scientist will run away. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist. Now again, she went to the scientist, who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty bedroom. See, few minutes back only bedroom was empty, right? And the door was also locked, and now he is coming out of that empty bedroom. The village, okay, then I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs. Then she says, she demanded, she asked, and I want to know that how it is you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room. This she is asking that scientist. Then the scientist was always quick-tempered. Now he became angry, furious. You don't understand, he tells that lady, you don't understand who or what I am. He shouted. Very well, I'll show you. Suddenly, he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and even nose, that false nose he used to wear. It took him only a minute to do this. And the horrified people, then the scene was, people who were sitting in the bar, they got horrified, right? Because the moment he removed this nose, spectacles, that bandages, whiskers, so his face was just it was naked face, and then it became invisible, and people who were sitting in the bar, they got horrified seeing a headless man, because here it was visible because he was wearing clothes, and this portion, as there was nothing, no specs, no nose, nothing, it became invisible. Mr. Jeffers, the constable, now arrived. So name of the constable was Mr. Jeffers, and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without a head, because he was headless, his head was not visible. But Jeffers was not easily prevented from doing his duty, but nobody could stop him doing his duty if a magistrate's warrant ordered a person's arrest, because he got magistrate's warrant to arrest this person, so he would arrest, right? Then that person had to be arrested with or without his head. There followed a remarkable scene. Then another scene happened there. As a policeman tried to get hold of a man, of the scientist, who was becoming more and more invisible as he was removing his clothes, as he threw off one garment after another, finally a shirt flew into the air, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at, now because he removed his shirt also, so he became till here became invisible. And then afterwards he was removing his clothes. Some people tried to help him but found themselves hit by blows, and then other people also tried to help that constable, fine, holding that scientist, but then what was happening? Nobody was visible, only they were getting blows from here and there. That seemed to come from nowhere, and they were not it was very difficult to see that from where. Sometimes they were getting hit from here, because that scientist was invisible. In the end, Jeffers was knocked unconscious. Then Jeffers, that constable, he got knocked so hardly that he became unconscious as he made a last attempt to hold on the unseen scientist. So he was also hit so badly that he fell unconscious. They were nervous excited cries of hold him, that other people, they kept speaking, shouting, hold him, hold him. But this was easier said than done. But it was easy to say hold him, but it was very difficult to do it. Griffin had shaken himself free. So fine, he got free, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. And nobody knew like where to put his hand and how to catch him. So scene was like this.